Election season is well underway in several states, and Oklahoma primary elections are coming up in March. Here in Oklahoma, we do have partially closed primaries. So joining us today are two election experts. We have Jeremy Gruber with Open Primaries and Margaret Kobos with Oklahoma United to talk about the push for open primary elections and what that would mean for voters. Thank you both so much for being here. Really appreciate this informative topic. Of course, Jeremy, let's start with you if you don't mind. Let's talk about where we are with the primary elections in Oklahoma. A rise in independent registration as well. What does that mean for you guys?
Yeah, so Oklahoma is one of only 14 states that have closed primaries, which means independent voters can't vote in primary elections. Around the country, independents are the largest group of voters now in the country. Just this week, Gallup came out with their polling that found 43% of voters are independent, and that's happening right here in Oklahoma. 20% of Oklahoma voters are independent. It's the fastest growing group of voters in the state. They can't vote in primary elections, the elections that matter.
Absolutely, of course. And Margaret, will you talk more, you're here locally, you see what the impact looks like. Can you talk first about OK United, what you guys do, and just the effort to repeal what Jeremy was talking about with these closed primaries?
Right, so Oklahoma United is I say it's a nonpartisan group, but it's our supporters always tell me, make sure everybody knows we're a multi-partisan group. So we're seeking reforms and answers to a system that is not serving everybody. It's just not serving everyone. And the first thing that you look at when you research this is the exclusion of independent voters in the primary system. Now, the Democrat Party has permitted the independents to vote in their primaries, but we don't have a fully open system, and the Republicans do not. I say only, but only about half of our registered voters in Oklahoma are Republican. And as Jeremy noted, 20% right now are independent. It's growing. I think, it grows a lot every single month. We track this all the time.
Wow.
We just want these people, we want all voters to have the freedom to vote for the person they want. The person in their minds is the best person for the job, regardless of where they come from. And we want all independents to be able to vote equally as a party member. You shouldn't have to be forced to join a party in order to exercise your constitutional right to vote in elections that you're funding. So we're just trying to empower everyone, and I say that as a lifelong Republican. A lot of Republicans are feeling the same way. That we need to start in Oklahoma. We can solve a lot of our frustrations by starting with a fair system.
Absolutely, of course. It's almost like it's putting you into a box in a way, the way it is now. So can you talk about, if different parties hear this, are there pros and cons to each way? Is this going to negatively impact certain parties like the Republican Party?
Yeah, well, in Oklahoma City and Tulsa, we already have a unified ballot. So when you go to vote in those city elections, you're already looking at all the candidates and you're able to make a decision about the person that you want to serve.
Of course.
We just want to see that model, something like that model, statewide. And I think it's honestly, I could go down a list of a lot of reasons why I think that's going to help parties and why it's going to empower them to do more messaging and reach voters. The handwriting, I think, is on the wall. We have to address the rise of independent registration. The parties need to embrace that.
Of course.
And the way to do that is to bring everybody together on a ballot. We start listening a little bit more to what independent voters want. And I think we're going to see young people, military people, most of them are registered independent. My own son is registered independent. And I'm generational Republican. So this is not about parties. This is about giving everyone more choices and freedom.
Of course, and that's your goal as well, Jeremy, is just to
look, 50% of our young people are independent voters. Over half of our military veterans are independent voters. Every demographic is growing in the independent voter movement. We have to bring these voters into the system. Right now, our general elections in this country are highly uncompetitive. Right here in Oklahoma, 70% of state legislative races see legislators running unopposed. So the real competition is happening in the primary elections. We want to give every member of the voting public access to them. These are taxpayer-funded elections. Let all voters vote and give access to the elections they pay for.
Absolutely. Jeremy, Margaret, thank you both so much. This is a really informative topic. It's going to be a busy election year, so it'll be interesting to see how this all shakes out, but appreciate your time.
Thank you. We're excited to bring some positive solutions to our state.
Absolutely. Working really hard.